So today we're going to make a steamed buttermilk pudding with some honey caramelized apples. So I'm going to start off by caramelizing my apples. These I'm using Bramley apples, these beautiful English apples that are really tart, full of juice, and got a little bit of sweetness. They'll hold up to quite a bit of cooking, so that's why I'm using those. You can use another type of English apple, but this for me is perfect for this pudding because puddings are naturally sweet anyway. And in here I've got my butter, sugar, and a little bit of honey. And I'm going to start a bit of caramelization in the pan. Now then, I'm just going to cut through the middle, cut through again. And I'm sort of doing what you would do for a fondant potato, really, just rounding off the edges. We waste nothing, so just eat those little leftovers. And they've got to be able to fit. We're aiming to go in the bottom, so we want a little bit more. And we're going to take out the middle. It doesn't matter if you leave a little bit of the center because it's going to break down through the cooking. So now we've got our butter, sugar and honey caramelizing nicely. Turn it up, get that really, really hot and pop that in. Pop that one in. That's that. Taken care of. Now to make the pudding. So I want to cream my butter and sugar, but before I do, because it's quite cold in here, I'm actually just going to get my hands in and squeeze it up a little bit, and that's going to help. It's going to stop it from flying everywhere when I use an electric whisk. Keep one eye at all times on that apple, otherwise it will burn, it will fall apart. We don't want it to fall apart because obviously it's going to get a second cook, but we're just starting it off. So let me just double check the other side. It's taking on a nice bit of caramel. And now we're going to start by beating the butter and sugar. With a little bit of salt, that never goes amiss. Trying to get it softer and softer and softer, and more and more and more air. The lighter you get it, the lighter your sponge will be, and the more it will take on the egg. I'm using dark sugar because it's cold outside. I want my sugar to be darker. I want it to feel warm inside. I'm almost there, a little bit more. It's quite cold in here. My egg. Every now and again, you'll just want to stop everything from going everywhere and just scrape the sides. Bring everything back together. We want to slowly incorporate the egg. If you put it all in, especially if the butter and the sugar is quite cold and the room's quite cold, it will begin to split. So we want to do it nice and slowly. A little bit at a time. Don't put any more until you really get rid of all of the egg. There's no greasiness. Just a little bit of flour will help bring that mixture together if it's not coming together quick enough. Now a bit more egg. So now all that's left to do is fold in our self-raising flour. So this is a bit like a Victoria sponge really. I'm using equal quantities of flour, sugar and butter to bring it all together nicely. But I want a really soft, wet sponge, so I'm going to ask for a little bit of help from some buttermilk before I mix in all the flour and start building up the gluten. We don't want to do that. I'm just going to pour Just a few little bits. And the chemical reaction with the acidity in buttermilk and the self-raising flour starts to work straight away. You'll be able to see it start sort of swelling in the bowl. That means you need to get it in the oven quite quickly. So we need to switch our oven on. So don't keep going. I'm pretty happy with that. As soon as all the flour's gone. Now, back to our molds. We want to pop our apple that's quite hot in the bottom. Push it right down to the bottom. Use a bit of that caramel, don't waste it. So just drizzle a little bit more on there. Now, you don't want to put too much of your mix in, because it's going to swell up quite a bit. But you need a good ratio of apple to pudding. That's that. So now we just need to wrap them. So I'm going to use cling film. The cling film that we use here, it's got silicone in it, so as long as you sort of double it up, it will survive a big cook. So there we go. That one. That one. Simple as that. Pull them over. And then I've got here just a pan of water. So it's like a bain-marie if you like. I'm going to pop those in, and I'm going to pop this in the oven for about 40 minutes. There we go. Now, all we need to do now is make the cream. Here we have our beautiful double cream. In there, I've got just a little bit of cinnamon that you can see on the top. What I want to add to that is this beautiful vanilla. So I'm just going to cut that open, split that in two, and get all this lovely squidgy, jammy vanilla seeds out. Probably only need that much really, maybe just a tiny touch more. I don't want to make this too sweet, and vanilla emphasizes sweetness. A little bit of sugar, just a pinch of sugar. There's sweetness already inside her. And we're going to use cider. I'm using Mortimer's cider. It's really, really lovely. Just give it a little whip. And because I've had my double cream out of the fridge, it should, in theory, whip quite quickly. We only want to look for a Mr. Whippy type. Soft. Taste for sweetness before you go too far. Oh, perfect. So after a bit of elbow grease, you should get it nice and thick and pillowy soft. That's exactly what we want. We're not looking for something stiff. We want it glossy. And then keep whipping and add in just a bit of cider, as much as you can get away with. You need to do it a little bit at a time, otherwise it will begin to split the cream because there's so much acidity in it, but do it bit by bit, it'll be absolutely fine. Obviously give the cider a taste. Oh, beautiful. A little bit more. Give it a check, and I'm allowed to put my finger in it because I'm going to be the one that's eating it. Oh, it can take more. It can take more. Perfect. So it's still quite pillowy soft. It's a little bit looser, but once it goes in the fridge, it will set a little bit further. By the time the pudding's ready, it will be perfect. That's that. So the puddings have had 40 minutes now. I'm going to turn them out, open them up, and hope that the apple's not stuck to the bottom of the mould. Perfect. This is the kind of pudding that really makes me feel a bit giddy, and I can't help but giggle, I'm sure, when I eat it. Still hot, still soft. That's the kind of pudding that my grandmother used to make. Amazing. I want more. Mm.